It was a quiet Tuesday morning in Edgewater, Florida. The kind of morning where the sun cut clean through the blinds and the world felt still. But for a certain household, the silence that followed was not peaceful. It was the silence that comes after a shot is fired. A single bullet, a single mistake, and a 13-year-old boy lay lifeless in the room where he once laughed, played video games, and dreamed about the world ahead of him. His name was Dylan Armstrong, and those who knew him said he lit up every room he walked into. Energetic. The kind of kid who wanted to be a firefighter one day, or maybe a soldier, just like the heroes he'd seen on TV. He was just beginning to find his way through the world, but he would never get the chance to finish the journey. Because on that day, his father, Christopher Michael Hecht, unintentionally pulled the trigger that would change their lives forever. Hecht wasn't just any father. He was the son of Beth Chapman, the late wife of famed reality star and bounty hunter Duane "Dog" Chapman. Though not Dog's biological son, Chris had been part of the extended Chapman family for decades, a man who'd struggled, stumbled, and like many in the clan, tried to find redemption in the public eye. But what happened that morning was no reality show plot twist. It was real, raw, irrevocable. According to the Edgewater police report, officers responded to the home after receiving a 911 call about a possible accidental shooting involving a juvenile. When they arrived, they found Dylan critically injured. Paramedics rushed him to the hospital, but it was too late. He was pronounced dead not long after. The weapon? A handgun that Hecht reportedly thought was unloaded. He'd been handling the firearm, whether to clean, show, or store it, and in a split second, it discharged. Dylan was shot in the head. Police called it an accidental discharge. A tragic mistake. But that doesn't make the grief any lighter, the wound any shallower, the guilt any less overwhelming. Christopher Hecht was known to live a life shadowed by hardship. Years earlier, Dog had revealed that Chris was the result of a teenage relationship Beth had before meeting him. He had reconnected with Beth as an adult, but the road had never been easy. He battled addiction, mental health challenges, and the heavy weight of trying to live up to a name tied to fame, fearlessness, and high expectations. Friends say Chris was trying to turn his life around. He had custody of Dylan, and to the outside world, things looked stable. But behind closed doors, life was complicated. After the shooting, Hecht was detained and questioned by police, and a full investigation was launched. Authorities were careful to gather every shred of evidence, mindful of the high-profile nature of the family involved. As of the latest reports, no charges have been filed yet. Police say the case remains under active investigation. But for Chris, no punishment could outweigh the one he now carries daily, the knowledge that he pulled the trigger that ended his son's life. The irony wasn't lost on the public. The Chapmans are famous for chasing fugitives, tracking down criminals, catching men who fled from justice. But now, their family was the scene of a crime, however unintentional it may have been. Duane "Dog" Chapman has yet to publicly comment on the incident, but those close to him say he's devastated. The pain of losing Beth in 2019 was still fresh, and now another fracture has torn through what's left of the family. Dog once said in an interview that redemption is for everyone, a phrase he lived by as he hunted fugitives and offered them second chances. But what happens when the person who needs redemption is your own? What happens when the one in handcuffs is your son? In the days following Dylan's death, neighbors left flowers outside the home. A small memorial of candles and handwritten notes grew on the lawn. "He was a sweet boy," one neighbor said through tears. "Always smiling. Always polite. I can't believe he's gone." Meanwhile, mental health experts weighed in, warning of the psychological toll such an accident could take on a parent. Many described it as a grief that becomes a lifelong sentence. Chris Hecht was reportedly placed on suicide watch. Friends said he couldn't eat, couldn't speak. "He just stares at the wall," one source shared. "He keeps saying, 'I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to.'" Whether the courts eventually rule it an accident or criminal negligence, the human tragedy remains. A boy is gone. A father is broken. A family once known for cleaning up the streets is now fighting to clean up the shards of its own shattered heart. Beyond the personal grief, Dylan's death has sparked broader conversations around gun safety in American homes. Too many children die every year due to unsecured firearms, a tragedy that continues to plague families across the country. Experts say accidental shootings, especially involving minors, are preventable with the right precautions. Always keep guns unloaded and locked away. Use gun safes or biometric locks. Educate children about firearm danger. Never assume a gun is unloaded. In Dylan's case, that assumption cost him his life, and it left a permanent scar on a man who will never forgive himself. There's no clean ending to this story. There are no handcuffs, no courtroom drama, no satisfying sense of justice. Only pain. Only silence. But in that silence, perhaps, there's a chance for change. Perhaps Dylan's story will be a wake-up call for parents, gun owners, and families everywhere. And maybe, just maybe, that could save another child's life. Because sometimes, the most powerful justice isn't about punishment. It's about prevention.